Hello and welcome to the Popcorn Dialogues podcast. I am your host, Rosh.
And I'm your host, Nam.
And we are getting into season 5 of The Boys, the final season.
Oh my goodness, very exciting.
Exciting, scary, nerve-wracking.
It's the end of the road.
It's the end of the road.
It's the end of an era.
Yeah, the road so far.
So we are in season 5. We've had 4 episodes so far. So
we're at the halfway point.
Yep. So we have just literally like half an hour ago we finished watching episode 4.
Yeah.
And we wanted to bring it so that we're not doing it episode by episode. We wanted to do 4 episodes, then the next 4 once it finishes. Then we'll talk about that then.
Yeah. Yeah.
Lots has happened.
Lots has happened in 4 episodes. I actually can't believe like there's just, it's been really good. It's been a good jumping off point starting off point from season 4 and what that finale set up. But it's also still building to like something. You know,
we have no idea,
and we have no clue, and that's the good part. Like, we shouldn't know. We shouldn't be seeing like the cracks or anything. And I do believe that it's kind of unpredictable at this point. Like,
so, it's. I think predictions. I think I'll be a bit more comfortable with at least maybe another episode in.
Yeah, another episode or two.
You know, so I don't know. Yeah. I mean, I do want to maybe get our thoughts on what we think is going to happen. It's not really predictions.
Yeah, but given the history of the show and then also the history of the comics and like what they could possibly lean into with that, it would be interesting to sort of make our assumptions based on that as well. Yeah. So yeah, but it's been really good so far. I am far happier. So when we were watching season 4 the first time, I remember people being like, "Oh, I'm not getting into it. It's really slow. I don't understand where the story is going." And I didn't feel that way. And then even on rewatch, I haven't really felt that way, but I kind of understood why people might have. I think, and I enjoyed season 4 in the rewatch, but I didn't like absolutely love it or anything. But I think with season 5, we're already at a better point than we were with season 4. I agree. At this point.
I agree. So, season 5 so far has been quite strong.
Yeah,
I feel like every episode is making use of the characters. It's making use of the time. It's showing us things that need to be shown.
Yeah. It's a little too accurate.
Oh man, look, let's not even
we'll get into it, but Kripke's already been like, I didn't want to be the thing of it being like I had a crystal ball or something.
Let's just enjoy some satire. Yeah, let's just enjoy some. Not happening.
He's like,
I
didn't want to be able to predict. He's like, I didn't think this shit was gonna happen. Yeah, and it did. It's like, well. But I mean, that's just the times for you.
Yeah, we'll have a chat about that because that is a very important aspect of this show. I think, especially now, it's become like that. Yeah. So I think starting off strong, like episode 1, like at least the first half, because it's 8 episodes, isn't it? Yeah. So we've got. The first half now, I think, is a very good first half.
Yeah, it's a good first half, yeah.
It's a good first half. And from what we've seen so far, I feel like the rest of the show is going to be fine.
I mean, we I don't want to, be very confident, but just from these 4 episodes, it does feel like we're in a good position.
Yeah. I don't want to be overconfident.
So I don't want to overshoot it. Yeah, I don't want to, overfill with confidence or anything. Yeah. Because as we know in the past, it can all go absolutely upside down within the span of 1 episode. Let's be real.
So we have to talk about something very major at the start of the show. And this is basically, it's not in episode 1, but it is a big part of the show. And that's A-Train.
Yes.
Right? So let's just go into that because that is something that's really important. So A-Train, spoiler,
dies in the first episode. Yeah.
And that was truly a very shocking moment.
Yeah.
Because if you've listened to our season 4
any of our past,
we have talked about that A-Train will most likely die.
Yeah. So that's not the shock. Him dying is not the shock part. It's the dying in episode 1 part that's shocking.
Yes.
And okay, I guess the criticisms would be starting early. The fact that it happened so early, I feel like we didn't put enough emphasis on the importance of A-Train.
Yes, I agree.
To the point where we were then watching episode 2 and we're like, do they even know? Do the boys even know? Yeah. And it was not until like there was an offhand comment from, I think, Huey being like, oh, he's dead and, you know, all this stuff. Like,
and for us MM is looking at like a picture of him.
The picture of him in the Teenage Kicks mansion. And then Annie being like, oh, he died and, you know, we were friends and blah, blah, blah. Like, for them saying like trying to like recruit him in season 4 and bring him in and like all of the bringing in has really actually happened off screen because then we got the very small cameo in the end of Gen V season 2 where we got so excited thinking that, you know, it's going to be a great setup.
He's joined the fold.
The fold. We're going to see him in action with everybody else. That's going to be so great. And then he dies in the first episode. And then season 2, he's barely regarded. And now I do feel the A-Train size hole in episode 3 and 4.
Yes.
Where he hasn't even really been mentioned.
I feel everything has gone really, really well, except for this whole A-Train thing. Yeah. And not because I really enjoyed him as a character. Yes, I absolutely loved him. But I feel like it, in terms of a character arc. Yeah. I think they've done a big disservice to themselves. Yeah. Where, like, I see the mirroring, which is like A-Train starts the story off in episode 1. And so it's episode 1 of season 5. But the thing is, if A-Train starts the story, wouldn't it make sense for him to finish it as well in some way? Yeah. I'm not saying,
this exact scenario. So let's actually get into it. So like episode 1 is basically, it is now a year later and Homelander is pretty much running the show at VOT of the government. Yeah. And the virus, they are trying to handle that situation because they know that it exists. Yeah. They want to get rid of it and all that stuff. And so our group, the boys, are basically so Huey, MM and Frenchie are all in a prison camp. Yep. Because that's where they were taken at the end of season 4. Annie is in hiding and Kimiko as well has gone to all points. No, I think she's like in the Philippines or something when we start off. Yeah. So, and even as we were talking, A-Train is kind of in and out of that world because he's protecting his family. Yeah. They're off in, you know, the south of France and they're in hiding. And it's just, so the setup of him being in hiding it's interesting, but then it's also, it didn't give us much time for us to see him with the others. Exactly. You know? So when he does come into it, you know, and Annie asks him like, you know, we need your help to get the guys out of the prison camp, like, and he does sort of hesitate because he's like, I have a family to protect.
Yeah, I can't get involved.
I can't get involved. But, you know, when he does go back for a brief minute to France and he's talking with his brother, which was a really great scene. I really loved that.
Yeah, I like the reconciliation.
Because when I saw Nate there, it just felt so good to like be like, okay, they're in a good place. Yeah. As compared to season 4 and before that. And like, him just being like, you know, you're so different from when you started, and like mom would be proud of you, and I'm so like,
but I wish we had seen a little bit of that.
I wish we had seen more of them. Like I wish we had gotten an actual scene with his nephews, like in a contrast,
even if not that, you know, like, I wish we had seen him be a little bit more heroic.
Yeah,
you know, like
because as I've said, like him taking to the hospital in season 4 is only the start of it. That's not the end of it.
That's not the end of it.
That's not like the redemption fulfilled. Yeah. That is the redemption starting.
Exactly.
So I wanted more of that. Like, and I really loved, so, you know, as it happens, he does eventually, you know, because the Deep comes and threatens the family has been taken away. He like takes them to all points nowhere. We don't know where they are. But he does decide, okay, I have to go back. I have to get the guys out. And when he is there, he saves and he saves Frenchie and everybody else. And he saves Huey, which is a very big deal considering Huey is on this path because of him. And he very well wanted to kill Huey. I really loved that. I really loved it because he saves Huey the first time in season 4. And it is kind of like, okay, so we're kind of even at that point. But this is like, he's not doing it for anything. Yeah. He's just doing it to save a life, to save someone's life. And in the process, he gets lasered by Homelander.
No, because doesn't he get his neck snapped?
No, he gets before that.
Oh yeah,
before that. So like he gets lasered by Homelander in the camp, like after he saves Huey, because he's like too busy aura farming and like slowing time down. That's kind of where it got him. Let's be real. That's kind of where it got him. It's like, you know, he's having his Quicksilver moment.
I like that though.
Like, I loved it.
Though.
No, I
loved it.
Fun
way to show him.
I loved it, but it was kind of like, oh, this is where I got you, mate. Like if you had been like a 1 second faster. Yeah. So like, and then he gets out of there, and then the parallel of him seeing the girl and just wishing for her to move faster.
Yeah.
And then he dodges out of the way, but he trips. And that whole bit is so good.
That bit it was done very well.
That bit is fantastic.
I think his whole death was done very well.
The death. So in like rehashing this, what I'm trying to say is, and like even when he gets to the forest and he has the one-on-one with Homelander and like laughing in his face and calling him pathetic and I'm not scared of you. I don't know why I was ever scared of you. You know, you're nothing. It's all actually really perfect. But had it happened at the midway point.
Yes. Even
episode 3 would have sufficed for
would have been
just
fine,
for us to see him actually come into that properly.
Yeah.
You know? Where he saves the guys. He's in with the team a little bit more. And then it comes down to a situation of facing off with Homeland or whatever it may be. And then this happens.
Yeah. I think that would have been so much better.
That would have been so, like, for him to be a really integral part of the first half would have been really amazing.
Episode 4 if
like,
you had
really,
to.
Like,
know?
that's your halfway point.
Yeah.
That's your, for the lack of a better term at the moment, to go back to the old business model, which should have always been, but that's another podcast for another time. To have it as like your mid-season finale, cliffhanger, you know, hiatus, cliffhanger. We're not those, you know, one of those, you know, when we used to have to wait for 2 months because we didn't know what's going to happen. Oh, those were the days. Yeah. And you all, you know, you Gen Z would never understand that. But anyway, you don't know the pain of that. You really don't. You're very lucky. But
yeah, I agree. Like I've always said, you know, a good death is what is needed. He did have a good death. Yeah. The timing of the good death wasn't it though. Yeah. It was not episode 1 was not it. Yeah. It should have been halfway point. It should have been episode 4. Now, having said that, looking at episode 4
probably not.
Maybe not.
But
it could have worked.
It could have worked. We could have had a different storyline for him. Like
could have worked.
Episode 4 could have gone a different way. Yeah. This could have been episode 5 or something. Yeah. You know. So if they had really wanted him to be more integral to the story, they could have done that. but like I also don't blame them, because like Kripke talking about like not wanting to do it, and then the writers being like, well, you have been saying no one is safe this whole time.
Yeah.
And if you really want to make the biggest impact possible, you do it in episode 1.
If you gotta see it from that standpoint,
if you see it from that standpoint,
that
then
is
because it's true. No one is safe, and if you're really gonna go for someone, everybody kind of is like,
everyone's on the chopping block, basically.
Yeah.
All right. So moving on to like storyline so far, what we know, it's basically they're still scrambling for the virus because Samir essentially destroys it with his daughter
because
Zoe.
Up until this point, he's been under the impression that Zoe's dead, but
he realized that she's not.
She's realized that she's not.
Now, speaking of Zoe, through Zoe we also get to meet a very important character, which is Ryan.
Yeah.
And I really want to talk about Ryan.
Yeah.
Because I think he is going to be, and I've always said this. Yeah. That he's going to be an integral part of this.
I hope so. I really hope so.
Yeah. I hope they're not kind of going, oh, look, we're going to keep him for Gen V or whatever it is.
I mean, they're both too young to be kept for Gen V.
True, but I'm just saying, like, I hope it's not something that we're not going to see happen, because I think it needs to happen now. Yeah. So Ryan has been in hiding. He's been in Russia, and I love the little intro of Ryan. Yeah. Where I don't know what they are, CIA or something. I don't know.
And they were just like Russian black ops.
Yeah, they're locating him. They go to this house, and at the start we are like, what is happening? Who is this person?
What was the song that was in Russian?
It was,
and I was like, this is brilliant.
Bad Reputation. I think it's that one.
Yeah, Bad Reputation. Yeah. And but it's in Russian.
It's in Russian. It's so good. Yeah. And and then we see Ryan, and then Ryan comes to visit Zoe. Yeah. And because they are essentially in the same position. They're both orphans. Yeah. They have no one that they can really trust. Zoe, I guess she still has
Stan.
Yeah. And to a certain extent, she can trust him. But even Stan, she knows that for now, she's safe with him. Yeah. But who knows what's going to happen, like, you know?
Whatever.
But Ryan really doesn't have anyone. He does have Butcher, but he doesn't trust Butcher fully anymore. Yeah. Either.
And even in this, like, when he's like, you don't care about me. Like,
he knows that.
He knows that. Yeah. He knows it.
But Butcher essentially convinces Ryan that you are the one that needs to do this. You are the one. You are the only one who can really help. Kill your father. Yeah. And my biggest fear with Ryan was gonna be that he's gonna be this evil awful child, horrible child. But I'm glad to see that he's not. No. And he's very much this sullen teenage boy who's trying to just deal with the crap that's been handed to him.
Killing the Russian guys. He's like, I don't want to do this.
I don't want to do this. He doesn't look happy about it, but I'm protecting myself.
Like, you could tell people where I am, and that could get back to Homelander, and that's the only reason
he
does it.
He's running scared. Yeah. Yeah. And he's a kid at the end of the day. He's a child. Yeah. And even though we see like in the past, we see moments of, his like that bit where that guy gets lasered by Homeland and he has a little smirk on his face. You're like, oh. And even like his very deadpan expression after Mallory dies. I think a lot of that is just, now we're getting to see like it's taken a toll on him. Yeah. It really has. Yeah. Otherwise, he would have been reveling in his evilness. But he's not. He cannot live like this. Yeah. And then he decides to confront Homelander. Because he has kind of gone, okay, fine, I'll kill him. Yeah. Butcher's managed to convince him, and he's fine. Okay, I'll do it. Yeah. But the thing that I really was impressed with Ryan is he agrees to do it, but he also knows that for Butcher, he's not reaching out because he cares for him. He's reaching out because Butcher needs him. He's a weapon. Yeah. And he's like, he keeps saying that as well. So it's not like he's not delusional. Yeah. And then, of course, the bit where Homelander just wallops him, like beats him. It's like.
Yeah, that was horrible.
Oh, that was awful. Bad. It was just awful. Yeah. And it's. I thought of like when we were watching this, I thought of like the whole Butcher and his father situation, you know, with the abuse in the home situation. This is mirroring that.
Yeah.
You know, the absolute brutality.
Yeah.
And the way Homelander beats him, it doesn't actually feel as if Homelander is just beating him. It almost feels like he's trying to kill him.
Yeah.
And when he walks away, I don't think he knows whether Ryan cares whether Ryan's alive or not. And in fact, when that happens, I was like, oh my, we both thought he was dead.
Yeah.
And then Butcher comes and, you know, he
shifts.
He shifts. So it's like, oh my gosh, thank God he's alive.
Yeah.
And I was like, you can't just, you know, I hope this is not the end.
Yeah.
And then again, we see Ryan in episode 4, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's recovering at Butcher's and he's very clear. He's like, you don't care about me.
Yeah.
You've brought me here and all of that stuff, but you don't care about me.
Yeah.
I'm still going to do what you want me to do.
Yeah.
Because I think, and this is where that bit comes in, I think this is probably just solidified even in Ryan's mind.
Yeah.
That I need to get rid of this guy.
Yeah.
Who is my father. He's just brought nothing but pain and suffering into my life.
Yeah.
He did the same with my mother. He's done the same with me. He's ruined me.
Yeah.
And there is no other option for him.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's going to be very interesting to see how that plays out. Yeah. Because at the end, not at the end, because basically Ryan disappears again.
Yeah.
So we have no idea where he is.
Yeah.
Where do you think he might be?
I don't know. Maybe teaming up with Zoe. I don't know.
That's what I was thinking.
And
possibly.
But like Zoe's now with Samir, so I don't know.
So maybe not, yeah.
But I don't necessarily know if he's gonna go and confront Homelander again. Not at this point.
I don't think he'll confront Homelander.
No,
especially not right now.
I don't know. Maybe he's just off doing his own thing.
Maybe, and Homelander's reaction as well. Like,
yeah.
And maybe this is where we start talking about Homelander a bit. Because there's a lot happening with Homelander.
A lot happening with Homelander.
Like, a lot happening with Homelander. I am loving the fact that Homelander is literally losing his mind.
Yeah, actually, at this point now. Like, we've always been like, oh, he's losing his mind in like the last few episodes. No, he's now actually losing his mind.
Like, we've seen the progression of that right from season 1. Yeah. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
But this is like a full-on manifestation of it.
Hallucinations and
everything.
Believing that he's God.
Like we get a nice little cameo from Madeline Stillwell.
Like a certain someone out there in the White House.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been really enjoying seeing Homelander be completely delusional. Having said that, I think where we left off in episode 4 is a very interesting point for him. Because now it's going to really be interesting to see what he does with that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Because, like, the Stillwell hallucination of her being like, you know, you have to rise up and be the new god and all this stuff. And you know, the destiny is that he will ascend, basically.
Yeah.
To the highest point. And now the Democratic Church of America.
Oh, my goodness.
I'm sorry, but... I mean, it's a bit too much, isn't it?
It's so just, on the nose,
it's just
but it's
there. It's like right there.
Do you think it's a bit too on the nose?
Well, to be fair, how did they know this was going to happen?
True. That's true. I mean, they're just thinking,
how did they know? This is like 2 years ago that they wrote this.
Yeah.
You know? So, no, it's not on the nose. It's just way too much of a coincidence.
It's like, has someone leaked the script to the White House and gone,
like, these are your talking points now.
Just follow this.
Yeah.
You know?
But
yeah, it's...
Yeah, so with that, and then with the whole church thing, and then him just being... I don't know. Like, it's like he's always been on his own agenda, but this is like a whole other thing. This is just like...
This is still very much carrying on with his own agenda.
Yeah.
But now his own agenda is so wacky that even I feel someone like Sage will not be able to handle him.
No. I think she's already losing not the patience, but just like losing the reins on not him, because she never had them, even though she probably likes to think so, but just on the situation itself, you know?
Yeah, because like his whole, like but this is my only thing. It's like his end goal is so crazy.
Yeah.
Like, what are you going to do? Like, he actually himself doesn't know what he wants.
Yeah.
And that's what I really find interesting, because he literally, apart from him just wanting to be the most powerful, immortal god, he really has no other goal.
Yeah. And then, I don't know, someone said it in today's episode, I think, was it Soldier Boy? I don't know. But it was literally like, oh, you'll have all these people that will be lording over you, and you still won't be happy.
Not lording over you, like, under you.
Yeah. Sorry, lording under you. And you still won't be happy, you know?
Yeah.
So
you're always going to be
dissatisfied. No matter where you are, whatever plane you ascend to, like whatever highest throne you get to sit on, you will never be happy.
In the words of Penelope Cruz in the movie Vicky Cristina Barcelona.
Yeah, you have chronic dissatisfaction. That's what you have.
that is Homelander to a T.
Yeah, chronic
dissatisfaction. And the thing is, like, you know, we can say, oh, you know, Homelander's had a really tough time, whatever, and all of that stuff. But the thing is, he has never, ever wanted to do anything that's not self-serving.
Oh, yeah.
You know? Like, A-Train, he initially, you know, was a hero and blah, blah, and then he gets corrupted by the power and the fame and all of that stuff, right? But initially, he started off as someone being good.
Yeah.
Homelander has never been good. Like, he has only ever been told, like, obviously put through torture as a kid, but then only ever been told that you are great and you are this and you are that. So he literally cannot see anyone beyond himself.
Yeah.
To the point where he cannot even see his own kid beyond himself.
Yeah.
You know? So he is such a fun,
like, even
villain.
saying something like Ryan is alive because he's my son.
Yeah.
Not even like Ryan is alive because he's strong, because he's, you know, resilient, because he's a good kid. No. It's because he's my son.
It's the classic narcissism.
Yeah. Yeah.
Classic narcissism. Even the way he deals with Soldier Boy.
Yeah.
It's all about the narcissism, because it's like, oh, Soldier Boy is the best one before me.
Yeah.
He's my dad.
Yeah.
Like, oh.
Yeah.
And you can argue that, you know, there are moments where, especially initially when he first meets Soldier Boy, it's like, oh, my dad.
Yeah.
You know, we'll have like a connection and blah, blah. Doesn't last very long. Same thing happened when he meets Ryan.
Yeah.
I feel like initially I think he did have like, oh, that's my son. But very much, it's also like,
yeah,
oh, I can manipulate this kid.
Yeah.
And
whereas with Soldier Boy, it's because he hates his guts and takes him down several pegs.
Oh, love it.
Every single interaction, every single time. So, yeah, Homelander has like literally no choice but to be like.
But the thing that I'm finding really interesting to see is so far, and this could very well change in the second half.
Yeah.
Through everything, he's coming off as very powerless.
Who?
Homelander.
Yeah.
He's coming off as weak, and I don't mean physically.
He is a weak man, yeah.
I don't mean physically, but even just he has no semblance of, number one, who he is, because he's so confused.
Yeah.
And his brain is literally scrambled that he is so weak. He has no power.
Yeah.
Because on one hand, he's being manipulated by Sage. And I feel, and I could be wrong, I feel Sage has seen this happen. And she's pushed him in this direction.
Well, she's not a future teller.
No, but she, you know how she's the smartest person, so she can predict certain things. I guess
so, yeah.
She may not predict exactly this.
Yeah, but at least strategically she can be like, this is what could happen.
Right?
Yeah.
So I feel like a probability, essentially.
Yeah.
I feel she might not be surprised by this move.
No, yeah.
But if she is, that will be a really interesting little move to see, because she's like, I can't predict this anymore because he's become completely unpredictable. But then that will give him power.
Yeah.
And I don't like that.
Yeah.
You know?
I like him thinking that he's got power, but he doesn't actually.
Yes.
And I think that's interesting. Yeah. I don't know. Homelander he's just...
Because he's lost control of the Seven.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. He's got no control of the Seven.
Yeah, as much as he thinks that he does.
I mean, the only person he really has control over is the Deep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even Firecracker is no longer under his
he's like, you have to do this thing for me, but she's also like, well, I need other people's help to do this. Yeah. You know? And
she'll do it.
Yeah.
But it's not because she's like... she doesn't revere him anymore.
Yeah.
But it's like, well, I need to not get my head chopped off, basically.
Yeah.
So I'll just do it, but I'm going to do it my way.
Yeah. Whereas the Deep is so delusional.
The Deep is just
like,
an idiot.
Where he's like, it's not that thing of like, he's revering him because he's scared.
No, he
actually is so delusional that he thinks that Homelander and him are like in good terms again. Yeah. Which they are not.
So Homelander has no control of the Seven. He can't control Soldier Boy the way he thought he could.
No.
He cannot control the stuff that's happening around him.
Yeah.
Now he's losing his mind.
Yeah.
So slowly but surely, I feel like this is how his power is going to go.
Yeah.
He's going to go starkly. Again, I mean, he is going to have a moment where he's completely going to blow.
Yeah.
How that's going to happen, not sure.
No.
But it'll be interesting to see what happens moving on. Because at the end of episode 4, he declares himself the prophet of the Lord.
He declares himself the prophet Homelander. Yeah. Like he is God.
Yeah.
Basically.
It's like, ooh, okay.
And then basically, it's just like bringing, like, just, like, it's completely no sound. And just that ringing in his ears.
Yeah.
And the bright white light on him.
Yeah.
And it's just like, well, what the hell's going to
What's going to happen now? And that's the bit that I'm like,
oh my God.
That is really, it's a very interesting spot to leave it in.
It's so good though. Oh, it's so good.
Okay, let's talk about the boys.
Yeah.
The boys.
Our guys. Yeah.
The boys.
Oh man. Our guys. I don't know. I love them. And I will always, like, I think they're doing interesting stuff with them in terms of like, for this episode, for example, where they go to Fort Harmony, and we'll get into the Fort Harmony of it all, but basically they're looking for the V1, and this place is really strange and messed up, and there's like these weird plants that, you know, are growing on the walls and like have consumed people, and it's making them literally go insane and start hating each other and literally fighting each other and saying everything that is obviously in their heads but they have never voiced out loud and all that stuff. So that was interesting to me today because, like, you always do wonder, like, what is happening behind the words that they say to each other. And like, we know that they all love each other. There is a love there, even with Butcher, weirdly enough.
Yeah.
Maybe not him towards them, but definitely them towards him.
Yeah. And
as much as they tried to deny it. But to, like, in this episode, it was very much like them having their intrusive thoughts just pulled out of each other and just like spewing at each other. Yeah. Like to the point where even Huey says things to that you didn't think he would ever say.
Yeah.
And vice versa. Like, you know, saying stuff to Huey. And I really, like, I loved at the end where, you know, Butcher was like, are we good? To and Mm's like, yeah, we're cool.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, I meant every word that I said, but we're cool.
Yeah.
So I really, in the next few episodes, would hope that Huey and have something like that.
Yes.
Because from the start of the season, so from episode 1 to now,
there's been a bit of a tension between them.
There's been tension between them, but there's also been this absolute I don't even know how to describe it, but like is not
Yes.
in that
he's not
he's not the controlled, I mean, despite his OCD, like he was still a bit like, you know, controlled in the fact that, you know, he had the morals, or he had his morals on his side. Whereas now, because they've spent this year in this prison camp and, like, you know, have obviously seen horrible things and had to witness a lot of shit, has completely lost all of that. Yeah. He doesn't believe in anything anymore. He's drinking toilet water.
I know, like, what?
Like, what are you doing? It's
what?
not my
What is happening?
It was just, like, really disturbing. But, so this is the thing, like, and on the flip side, Huey has had hope. Yeah, pretty much throughout, and even in episode 1, 2, 3, and now 4, he's still trying to keep things together. Yeah, and Huey will always have that because he's like, I've been through hell in the last couple of years. Yeah, but if I don't have this, I don't have anything.
Exactly, he can't survive.
He wouldn't survive if he didn't have this of seeing that light at the end of the tunnel. But like the good light, you know? Yeah. So, you know, and has always had fragments of that. He's had times where he's been like, this is crap. I'm throwing the towel in. Yeah. I don't want to do this anymore. Yeah. I'm leaving, blah, blah, blah. And someone has always brought him back in. And I'm really hoping that we get Huey doing that for him this time. You know? Because I always kind of feel it's been Frenchie being a kind of person to tell that you are a good person, you have done good, let Janine see that, you know, all that kind of stuff that he says in season 3. And then even Annie's always been the one to be like, you know, we have to be better than this. Like, we are better than this. Like, let's not be like the people out there. So, yeah, I want Huey to be able to do that. I
think with again, him losing Monique and what was the daughter's name? Janine. Yeah. You know, they're not together anymore. They're separated. He probably doesn't even know where they are. Yeah. And he has lost hope that he'll ever be with them. Yeah. Even if not with them, but know where they are, that they're safe. He can meet with his daughter and, you know, have a relationship with her. Yeah. I think he's completely lost that. So until he had that in his life, he still had that hope. But now he doesn't have that. Yeah. So he's kind of like, I just need to get this done. Wherever they are in the world, they're going to be safe from this threat. Yeah. If I have to die, I die. Yeah. You know, and I think that's where he is
I think that's where he's at. Yeah, he's very much at the end of his rope.
Yeah, he is. And I feel like and Annie are in a very
they're kind of parallel.
They're paralleling, right?
Yeah, they kind of always are. Yeah. You know, they are kind of kindred spirits in that way. So the fact that Annie is also like, there is no way to fight this. Yeah.
She's losing hope.
She's become nihilistic and has lost the hope, really. And so to see that still alive in Huey, it is a bit it's confronting for her. And so, you know, she doesn't necessarily know how to deal with that. And then you've got Frenchie and Kimiko on the flip side, who are, you know, kind of going through their own personal thing,
the evolution
of them trying to get away from their past and get away from the things that they've done. And now Kimiko, she can talk. So with that new dimension to their relationship, she's able to say not a whole lot more, because, you know, she has communicated so much with him, even just through the sign language. But she is now, like, as we said, intrusive thoughts. She can be a hell of a lot more honest than she probably was in the past.
I think they're in a very interesting position because you know they have now full blown become a romantic couple. Yeah, right. So that's a very nice little evolution to their romance. But I feel like it's not going to be something that's going to be endgame for them. No. And I would have been devastated initially, but I think I'm okay with that now. I'm okay with
it now because originally I was like, how could they not be? Yeah. How could they not end up in Marseille? And how could they not, you know? But yeah, like this episode really changes that because, and even like last one to some extent in episode 3, where she's like, oh, it'd be nice to like settle down and have a quiet life
and have children.
And he was like, well, I never wanted that.
I never wanted children. Yeah.
I don't want that. Like, you know. And in this, for her being like, you know, you love
thrive in chaos.
You thrive in chaos, and I'm trying to get away from that chaos. And he kind of just says, so where does that leave us? And then we don't get a scene with them after that, because that's like towards the end. Yeah. But it's just, it's very interesting because I always thought that they would be endgame, like they would be the ones, and maybe Huey and Annie wouldn't be. But it makes sense because Kimiko and Frenchie want completely different things. Yeah. To be fair, like they probably will always be in each other's lives. Yeah. No, I don't see them not being in each other's lives. And they will always love each other deeply, deeply, deeply so. Yeah. But I don't think they will be together. No. And I'm okay with that. And if they do end up being together, I think that would be great. Yeah. But if they choose not to be as well, I think that's fine. Yeah. But I like this new Frenchie. Yeah. Because what this new Frenchie is showing us is, yes, it is chaos and he's thriving in it without using drugs. He's been the most sober person he's ever been. Yeah. And he is so clear-minded. He is sharp as a tack. Yeah. Like he was like MVP of episode 4. Yeah. Trying to get everybody to not kill each other. He's the one that figures out what's going on. Yeah. Right? And he knows exactly what needs to be done because he lures Soldier Boy to. And so like he's the one that basically figures things out, and now he's the one that's working on the virus. Yeah. Right? Now that's so I feel we're seeing Frenchie's true potential come through now. And we always wanted that, let's be real. This man was meant to be a scientist. Yeah, he was meant to be a genius, I feel. He's a genius. He's a mad scientist. Yeah. Right? Yeah. And so this is where he's coming in. And I really hope that whatever happens with him, I hope it's a good, like whether him and Kimiko end up together is not the goal of it anymore. No, not anymore. It's about the fact that Kimiko wants peace. Yeah. She wants peace because her whole life, the way she was trained was just about violence and she has always had a problem with that violence. She has never liked it. She has never, I think it was season 3 when she loses her powers. Yeah. And despite not having powers, she's so brutal. Yeah. And the biggest thing that disappoints her is the fact that it's not my powers, it's me who's like that. Yeah. The V didn't make me that. Yeah. It's me. I am the evil, horrible person. Yeah. So I think for her to have that semblance of peace is the most important thing. Yeah. Whether that's with Frenchie or not. Yeah. You know? And I really like that. And in this season, I'm loving the little friendship that she's got with Huey going. Yeah. And I really am enjoying that because I feel like I honestly could see Kimiko, Huey, and Annie kind of off somewhere. Yeah. You know, making their own life. Yeah. A little family or whatever. Yeah. Right? Like I could honestly see that. Yeah. Even if not together, but they're the ones that kind of go off and are in touch. Right? Yeah. Frenchie, I feel, will always like love these people. But he'll kind of go and do his own thing. Yeah, if he doesn't die. If he does. But yeah. I don't know. It's interesting. Yeah. But Butcher. Oh, God, Butcher. He's been unexpected for me this season. I will be honest. Yeah, I was suspect. Like, there is the brutality for sure. It's definitely there. But, and like in their haze of being honest because of this weird thing in Fort Harmony, you know, Huey saying like, you know, you thought that it was the virus in you, but it's like you are that. You are the bad one.
Yeah.
You're the cancer, basically. And sure, that's true enough. But I don't know. There's been moments of him just being Butcher and not Butcher on V.
Exactly. Like we've gotten glimpses of like season 1 Butcher. Not season 1, I would say more season 2, 3 Butcher. Yeah. Right? 2 especially.
Yeah.
And it was a nice surprise to see that. I like that.
Yeah.
But I feel like he's masking.
Yeah. That's my impression. That as soon as that virus is ready, I think he's gonna, you know.
I feel he's masking.
Even with that whole thing of like his tentacle coming out and like choking Huey, that's because of the stuff that's happening there. That's not necessarily him.
Yeah.
That's the weird plant thing that's making them go crazy. Right? So, yeah, I don't know. Like, he's shown like his like glimpses of himself.
Yeah.
Like not necessarily in episode 1, because we do get the impression that he's killed his father.
Yeah.
So, but then that's like maybe the closure that he needed to be able to do what he needs to do next.
True.
Like that was the one thing that was sort of like holding him back. Or something.
Yeah.
But then he shows a bit of softness with Ryan this episode. In taking care of him, even though Ryan's like, well, you don't care about me. But
that scene when Ryan does say like, oh, you don't care about me, like you're just doing this because you need me.
Yeah.
I felt Butcher was being genuine in that moment. Just in that moment.
Yeah.
Like, I did feel like there was genuine. I feel like there is a little bit of the old Butcher still in him. And then we see that, you know, the little worm crawling every time it's like his brain's about to go to crazy.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's still that Butcher inside now that it's kind of settled a bit.
Yeah.
But having said that, again, I feel like he's masking, number one, because he needs these people to do the things that he needs. He needs the virus ready. He needs Ryan on his side. He can't piss him off.
Yeah.
So it very well could be that he's masking his true who he is. Do you feel we're going to get a comic book ending, which is where Butcher kills everyone?
I have to hope not. Because I don't remember if it was, maybe it was Kripke that said it like a couple of years ago, but he doesn't particularly love the ending of the comics. In terms of Butcher killing the team. So I don't know. I hope not.
I feel like that ending is such a nihilistic ending. It doesn't go with the show.
It doesn't go with the show. It doesn't go with who they've established this group as. Because yes, it's the same characters, but it's a completely different situation. They're they're proper like red-blooded human. They don't have V in them like they do.
Because in the comic books they have V,
all of them have V, from the very first issue. Like it shows them shooting up.
Whereas here they don't.
Here they don't. So they are human, and they do have a love for each other. Like they're a very weird family. They're very weird family, but they are a family. They're a found family, and they will have their they'll be at odds pretty much all of the time. But the minute something happens to one of them, it's like all bets are off. They're going to get that person. Yeah, I feel like that's not gonna. I feel the comic book ending doesn't make sense for the show, so it's not gonna happen. Yeah, but obviously we know Butcher's gonna die. Yeah, I think that's a given. I think that's a given. I think he's gone. Yeah, I think that's a given. I think what I would really love to see is him having a little bit of a reconciliation moment with his team. Yeah. And with Ryan. Yeah. Properly. Yeah, proper. You know? Yeah. Before anything happens to him. Yeah. I think that would be really nice. Kind of like a Last Night on Earth sort of situation. Yeah, I think it would be really good. Yeah.
to see that, we have to talk about Soulja Boy. Soulja Boy has been a bit of a highlight this season.
Oh my god!
And I can see why, because obviously we're getting ready for Vault Rising.
Oh yeah,
so that makes sense.
Oh yeah.
And episode 4 very heavily features Soulja Boy and his trauma and his past and all that.
Yeah,
I like that we're not given any major information.
Yeah.
Other than like small hints.
Yeah.
Like we're told he had a brother who was actually a war hero.
And so he basically begged his dad to let him also go
really
to the trials.
know who plays his brother.
Huh?
I really want to know who plays his brother.
Yeah, I know. It'll be interesting. Who it's gonna be. Or if they even really get into that.
I think it will. Like the way it was worded, I feel like it would.
Yeah, like
that seems like a big part of why
he is the way he is. Yeah, exactly. Like his father and his brother. So, you know. And then, you know, the nugget that we get that when he did go to get the V1, he was terrified and he cried. And he basically probably didn't want to, and then it happened anyway. So,
it's gonna
be interesting.
I mean, obviously, we are familiar with Jensen Ackles and his brilliant acting chops.
Yeah. The jacting.
Jackals is jacting. Jackals is jacting. But like, it's so like, we are familiar with him with Supernatural and stuff, right? Yeah. And he was so good on that show, like as Dean Winchester. He was Dean Winchester, right?
Yeah. And like, and now in this, he is
Soulja Boy. He is so good.
He is Benjamin, whatever his last name is going to be revealed to us in Vault Rising.
Oh, we don't know his name.
No, we don't know his last name. Okay. We just know it's Ben. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, this is so. He is such a good actor. Like, and I am loving the fact that he's getting a little bit of the recognition that this man has deserved for a very long time.
I mean, he was getting it in season 3 too. Can I just say the hilarity of straight white men falling in love with Jensen Ackles in season 3.
It's poetry.
Was hilarious. Not hilarious and like I'm laughing at you, but just hilarious in the.
This is so much fun to watch.
So much fun to watch. I am loving
now
this.
You get why we were going crazy for him.
It's happening again with people who have probably caught up with the show and didn't know him before. And now they're watching him in this and they're like, oh my God, who is this guy? Come into the fold, everybody. We welcome you very happily. We are expanding the Jackals community. All right, we're very happy to do that.
Oh, that's funny.
Always happy to you know, raise the flag.
It's so he's such a good guy. Like he's so good for this role. Like I will be honest. Like, you know, in Supernatural, he's a good guy. So you're kind of used to seeing. And yes, he's like morally slightly ambiguous, but overall, he's a hero, right? Yeah. But in this,
and he has played like bad versions of that character or like whatever, so it's interesting.
And there have been moments in Supernatural where he's done things where you're like, oh dude, Dean, what are you doing? Yeah. But in this, he's a bad guy. Yeah, right.
He's not good.
In season 3, we get that pure bad guy, right? We get the backstory of how he treated his team. People hate him. He's awful. He's misogynistic. He's disgusting. He's a creep. He's so offensive. Like he's just a massive walking
in the words
red
of
flag.
Huey Campbell, everything you say is so gross.
Seriously, he's a disgusting human being. Like he's awful. Right? But this season, you really get to see a slightly different side to him.
Yeah, like you kind of see it in season 3 because
towards the end
where he's like talking about his dad and like his dad never, you know, hated him but never really bothered to like even raise a hand against him because he was just, you know, not worth it. And he was a disappointment and like he didn't see me as anything else. And then even when, you know, everyone's like, oh, he's just trying to convince Huey that he's a good guy. But, like, there is a little bit of genuine, you know, feeling to it where he's like, you know, I'm not a bad guy. I'm, you know, it's just something that happened.
Because he actually believes that he's not a bad guy.
He believes that he's not.
He believes, he genuinely believes he's a hero.
Yeah.
He's not.
Yeah.
But he believes he is.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
then you see it here too. And I think very much in this episode the most, where he is confronted like with his past very quickly, in that, you know, Sage being like, well, Homeland is going off to Fort Harmony, and he's kind of like, wait, what? And so he goes along with him. And Fort Harmony is basically where Dr. Vought back in World War II gave all of these people the first
V1,
iteration of Compound V, V1, and only a few people took to it. And so those few people will be who we will meet in Vought Rising. And so, you know, it's a very interesting progression in episode 4 where, you know, he's going through, like, it's him and Homelander, and like they have this contention about like Stormfront / Liberty, and like they've both slept with her, and like all this stuff, and so, but, you know, as he gets into it more, like, Homelander confronts him with all this stuff from his past. Like, I've read your file. It's your brother who was the war hero. Yeah. You know, you didn't care. Like, you didn't want, like, you basically, you're a rich guy. You bought your way into this. And he's playing at his vulnerabilities, but he's doing the same thing back to Homelander too.
And doing it way better.
Let's be real. Because it's cutting deeper for Homelander than it is for him, because there's just so many layers to Soulja Boy.
Yes.
Like, it's gonna take, because it is decades upon decades. It's a whole nearly century
because
of
with
layers
with
that are really gonna be hard to break.
Yeah, because the other thing is, like, we have seen I was gonna say Homeboy.
Homeboy.
Homelander right from the start, right? So we know what he's like, and we've figured out his character. Yeah. Soulja Boy has not been someone that we've seen from the start, so we're still trying to figure out who he is. Yeah. And at the end of like episode 4, where he confronts Quinn, who is this big tree thing, and he has this moment who
was human at some point, because all of these humans, as we go into this place, you see all these dead bodies everywhere, and these all would have been, you know, patients for the trial that died and now have become one with this substance that is making people go crazy.
Yeah, and the way he responds to him, which is like, I won and this and that.
It's like, but then at the end, you always hated me, but now I'm here, you're there, and I've won.
And then when he finally kills him, he apologizes. Yeah. And you're like, oh, that's a surprise. Like, what's happening there? Yeah. And then at the end, because he shoves Homelander into like this cell with uranium. Yeah. Which was basically to test if they had taken to V strongly. Yeah. And, you know, Homelander's getting sick and all of that. Yeah. And he basically, when Homelander manages to escape, he comes out after him. He's like, just do it. Just kill me. Yeah. Like, it doesn't say kill me, but
just do it already.
Just do it already. It's like he's defeated. Yeah. He's very defeated. So it's like, oh, this is interesting.
It's a very interesting side to him that we got in this episode. Like, we have not seen him at this place ever, really. And I think it's just that thing of, like, you get confronted with your past very, very quickly. And, you know, you see it even when he's on the outside and they're walking up to the building. He kind of stops and he looks up and he's just like, what is about to happen in there? Like, what am I about to be confronted with? Yeah. And that is, as we said, it's centuries long history. That he has never had to deal with. Yeah. Because, you know, he's a man of a certain time. There was no therapy, let's be real. Yeah. And, you know, he's set in his ways. He's set in the time that he was at his highest point in terms of Vought. And so that is not something that he's ever had to think about. Yeah. Until this moment.
Yeah.
Like, so I think it's just that thing of maybe he was having all of these flashes to, you know, seeing this Quinn person, and then, being confronted with stuff that's in his file that he probably didn't even know that these people wrote down about him.
True.
That Homelander's trying to like, bring him down with. He's like, it's probably all just in there. And he suddenly has to think about it.
I feel, I have this feeling that Homelander's gonna die.
Yeah.
Soldier Boy's gonna die at the end of this. Do you think?
I don't know, because who's gonna do it? No,
but I mean, like the way, because the one thing that's so clear in this season, like it's a bit, he makes it a bit known in season 3 when he shows up, but 100% in this season is Soldier Boy hates Homelander.
Yeah,
like he hates him.
He's a freak.
He does not like his son. He literally is like, you are nothing to me.
He even said it throughout every episode so far, but then in this one he's just like, I cannot stand you. Like
when he literally cannot stand you.
When he's in that uranium lockup, he's just like, why do you think you're in there? Why do you think I don't, like, I have locked you in there? I just don't like you. I just cannot stand you.
And it's like,
the
whole Soldier Boy, Homelander, Ryan, it's so thematically,
and then whoever his father is gonna be,
it's so thematically interesting because it's that that cycle of abuse that's happening,
and we've sort of heard it from Soldier Boy, like he used to sneak him Manhattans when he was a kid, and like didn't bother to hit him, didn't discipline him, like, thinks he's a disappointment, and like all this stuff. And then how, even though Soldier Boy had no hand in quote unquote raising Homelander, he wasn't raised, he was just in a lab, but it still is that thing of like, I have no care for you,
because he's doing what his own father did. His father didn't care for him, so he doesn't care for his own son.
So now from Homelander it goes down to Ryan, where it's a little bit different in that he tried in his own Homelander way to seek a relationship, but he went about it the wrong way. Yeah.
And like for Ryan, the only father figure that he's really ever only had, it has been Butcher.
It has been Butcher. And that's also not great.
And that's not great. But having said that, Butcher, who did grow up with a super abusive father, has been the only one who has really loved Ryan, like in his own way. Like not once has he raised a hand, like, okay, he has, said things to him that have been harsh,
that have cut deep. Yeah.
But they have always had an underlying, like, I, at least as an audience member, can see that Butcher will never outright come out and say to Ryan that I love you. Yeah. It's never going to happen.
No.
But there is a level of love there because of Becca. Yeah. But there's also a level of hate there because of Homelander. But I think that if this is the Butcher that we're seeing that is Butcher and he's not masking, I feel there's a potential for a reconciliation between Butcher and Ryan. Yeah. Which I think would be really nice.
But like, coming back to the Soldier Boy of it all, I don't... Because like, who's gonna kill him? If he was going to die, then I feel like it could have happened in this episode where he's like, just do it already, and then Homelander would have killed him. Like, he's right there. You hate him. He's locked you up on this thing. This would have been the perfect time to kill him.
Maybe Homelander.
So like, why was he not dead? Do you get what I mean? And I don't think it's because of like any. Maybe they're setting up for like some kind of, I don't know, episode where it's like a little bit of flashback because of what Rising was something, and they need him for that. Maybe
my thing is,
it's just I think he would have died in this episode had it been the case.
My thing is, they're obviously keeping Soldier Boy around for something.
It has to be for something.
Because the only thing I can think of
is he the one who's gonna have to kill Homelander.
That's what I'm thinking,
because he does have that bomb thing.
Yeah, the only thing I can think of is, and I don't know if this would happen because I think Ryan very much also will be involved. Yeah. Is it going to be Ryan and Soldier Boy together? Who'll do it? I don't know. It's just... Yeah. It's up in the air.
Yeah, like we've gotten like nuggets of information about Vought Rising. We've gotten... I feel like we got to know the names of who the heroes will be in the show before this season. So we knew it was going to be Bombsight, Torpedo, Private Angel. And their names were mentioned in episode 3.
Yes.
And then of course like Liberty / Stormfront is going to be there.
And we had that discussion and she's probably not dead.
She's probably not dead because I personally, since season 3, have felt that she's not.
Which means I feel like she might show up.
It happened off screen. And you know, it's that thing of like, okay, not every death has to be on screen. I get it. That I'm not that delusional, but like the whole her thing of like $1 million babying herself, you know, biting off her own tongue. No, I didn't believe it for a second. And then even in this episode,
where he's like, "Did you see the body?"
Where Homelander's like, "Oh," because he's like, "What happened to her?" And Homelander's like, "Oh, she's dead by suicide." And he's like, "No, she never would have offed herself. Did you see a body?" And that now has really gotten to me. That's really has stayed with me since we watched it a couple of hours ago, where I'm just like, for him to question that.
Yeah.
Because he says, okay, we spent the night together like once or twice, whatever. But you kind of would have known her to some extent.
Yeah, like you're working together and
you
stuff.
work together, you've existed at the same time, you would have known stuff about her. So you know her enough to know she wouldn't do that to herself. You know? So
yeah, so that was when I was like, ooh, we getting Stormfront back?
I don't know.
New and improved, maybe.
New and improved.
I don't know.
She's in a secret location.
Who knows? We have no idea. So yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what happens. Any predictions going forward? Any thoughts?
I don't know. Like, as we've been talking about everything, I'm just like, I can't see, and this is a good thing. I can't see what the end's gonna be. You know, some people are like, oh, it's so predictable, and oh, it's this and that. But like, I have a feeling all those theories are gonna be wrong. Maybe the most predictable thing is that Butcher will die.
Yeah.
You know, and maybe
because even
and Homelander. Let's be real. I think he's going to die. I don't think he's going to lose power. I think he's going to die. Like,
he needs to die.
I think he has to.
Yeah, he's done too much.
He's done too much to be alive and just be a pathetic man without power. You know, without powers. Because as we said, if V is still in the world, then he's always capable of getting it somehow. So yeah, because I don't necessarily think that Vought is going to be taken down, because what happens to Gen V then? They don't have anything to fight then, you know.
True.
And we haven't gotten a renewal for season 3 yet, so that's a bit worrying too. But I can't see what the end is gonna be clearly. Like I have,
which is not necessarily a bad thing.
I have like a few like muddled images in my head, but I can't see it clearly, and I think that's okay because I'm still going to be surprised in some way, and that's what I want.
Yeah, I agree. You
know,
100%.
I don't want it to be that thing of I can feel it. I know what it's gonna happen, and that's exactly what happens, because that's the worst. I hate that. I don't want to be right about things. It's fun to be right about like certain theories or certain characters or whatever, but ultimately you don't want to be right about the ending, because then it's just like, well, it's kind of disappointing.
Yeah.
You know, because it's like you've already set it up to fail in your mind. Yeah. So yeah, I really can't see what it's gonna be, and that's kind of okay. So
yeah, I agree. I can't really say, apart from like, you know, the obvious ones, it's a bit hard to predict, and it's nothing wrong with that. I think we have gotten so used to like, ooh, predict the ending, and then if you like get the ending and like, ooh, I knew it, you know. I just know there's certain people that I hope better be dead soon, and I'm just like, oh my god, they better be dead. Firecracker. Oh my god, the Deep needs to die, but Deep needs to die a very funny death. Funny death, but also like satisfying, and I want I want Annie to be the one to do it. Oh yes, yes, I agree. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, so look, first half's been good. It's been solid. There's been a few problems here and there. even some that we haven't really mentioned, but
problems, but just things that could have been
better, and they might follow through. We haven't finished yet.
Yeah.
So they might follow through with that. We haven't finished yet.
Yeah.
So the first half's been pretty good. I've been enjoying the story. I think we've had a good like intro to a lot of things. Some answers, maybe not answers, but like hints at answers, which I think is good. I'm really looking forward to the second half. Yeah. I'm very nervous about the second half and the finale.
I've heard that like I don't know. It could be a rumor. It could be like a fake leak because people have been putting out fake leaks and everybody's like, this can't be real. But I think someone was saying like episode 6 is kind of
a big one.
Very like vote rising-y kind of.
Oh, so maybe a backdoor pilot kind of thing. Which
I'm like, I kind of feel like they don't need that in this day and age.
This episode served as something like that. That was fine.
Yeah. And I don't think in our current business model you need a backdoor pilot for like a spin-off, but
I mean, if they do one, I hope it just serves the story. It could be like
split action in terms of like flashbacks plus what's happening in current time. So that would be interesting. But again, it could be fake. So,
whatever it is, I just hope it's good.
Yeah.
You know, I hope it's a good, solid episode because so far we've had some good episodes.
So far we've been good. So
some good writing, you know, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So next week's episode, we are going to look at Michael.
The biopic.
Michael
Jackson.
That's the plan.
That's the plan.
It might change.
It might be that, or it might be The Devil Wears Prada too.
Exactly. So it could be either of those.
Yeah.
So those are the two movies that are coming up. So and we're excited about both of them. So really looking forward to it.
Yeah.
So I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode. Follow along on our socials. We shall be posting some stuff.
Yeah.
Hopefully on TikTok and Instagram as well. Give us a like, a subscribe. We are now on YouTube also. And stay tuned for our next episode.
So, talk to you next time.
Bye.
Bye.